Welcome to Vacuum Wars, and to our review of the much-anticipated Dreame X60 Max Ultra Complete. We bought one for ourselves and put it through all kinds of tests over the last few weeks to see if this model was as impressive as it sounded. We're going to go over the scores that blew us away, the scores that weren't so great, and whether this model landed anywhere on our top 20 robot vacuum list on our website. Spoiler alert, it ranked pretty high. So, links are in the description, and let's get started. Starting with the basics. The Dreame X60 Max Ultra Complete is Dreame's latest flagship robot vacuum on the X series, replacing last year's flagship, the X50 Ultra. There is a variant of this model called the X60 Ultra, which has slightly different specs and is missing a few of the bells and whistles of the X60 Max Ultra Complete, which is the one we bought and tested for this video. For reference, I'm going to occasionally compare the Dreame X60 scores to what we think is its closest competitor, the Roborock Curve X, as well as the average scores. Let's get into the pros. There are a few substantial changes to the robot when compared to last year's flagship. For one, this is the slimmest Dreame robot ever, coming in at 3.13 inches tall, which is 79.5 millimeters when its LiDAR turret is retracted. Dreame was falling behind in the robot height competition, as the brand seemed to be prioritizing threshold climbing, which can require more bulk in a robot to make room for climbing hardware. But Dreame seems to have solved this on the X60 with its highest threshold climbing ever. And in our threshold climbing tests, it was able to clear above its official number. It climbed 51 millimeters, or 2 inches, tying the Muva Z60 for the best score ever. The X60 has an extending side brush to reach into corners, and the Hyperstream Duo Divide main brush is designed to funnel hair into the suction intake without wrapping it around the brush. The Max Ultra Complete model also has a new feature, which is a pressure plate that can lower to create a semi-seal against carpet to increase suction, and the official suction is rated at 35,000 pascals. The robot did a good job of removing debris from hard floors and carpets, picking up all the types and sizes of debris we used with no major issues. Its carpet deep clean test score was fantastic. This is where we put sand into medium pile carpet and weigh how much the robot was able to get out, and the X60 got an 89%, which is much better than the average score for a robot vacuum. It also scored a perfect 100 on our flattened pet hair test, where we pressed 2.5-inch pet hair onto carpets to mimic real-world conditions. This is a rare score, and it was way ahead of both the average score and its nearest competitor. The Duo Divide Anti-Tangle brush has historically performed very well in our 7-inch long hair test, and it did it again, with 0% of the hair wrapping around the brush. The average robot struggles with this, and since hair wrapping can overburden the motor or prevent the brush from agitating the floor properly, a good anti-tangle system can be pretty important. The mopping system got a lot of updates. The dual spinning mop pads now scrub the floor with warmed water, which is something we're starting to see more of in premium robots, and they use 15 newtons of downward pressure. The pads lift 21.5 millimeters over carpets, and can be left behind in the dock for vacuum-only runs. A mop lifting over 20 millimeters is pretty high. The Curve X, by comparison, only lifts about 10 millimeters, which is a more common height for robot vacuums that have lifting mops. These features can go a long way to protect carpets and rugs of different thicknesses from getting wet by the mop. One of the pads extends to the side for coverage along edges and furniture, and the system got some pretty good scores in our mopping tests. We measure two things: how well the mop removes dried-on stains, and how much water it uses to do it. The robot might do very well in the stain test, but if it uses a lot of water, that can lead to streaked floors. In our new stain test, the X60 scored way above the average, and while the water use was a little on the higher end compared to the average, it was still a lot less than its nearest competitor. The combined mopping score came in a bit below average with the higher water penalty, but all in all, it was a very good everyday mop. Obstacle avoidance was a major win for the X60, which uses a system of binocular AI cameras and edge sensors, which can reportedly detect objects as low as 1 centimeter. The robot can supposedly detect and react to objects in less than 1 second, which would be especially useful for homes with pets walking around. The X60 also has a unique system called Proactive Illumination, which uses a projector-like lighting assist to detect things like clear liquid spills, and supposedly the model has been programmed to avoid vacuuming over tasseled edges on rugs. This system produced a very high obstacle avoidance score in our standard and torture tests, where the X60 avoided 22 out of 24 possible objects. This was way above average, and also better than its nearest competitor, which was very impressive. The dock was another pro, and the X60 added a few things we haven't seen on the X series before. The robot's dustbin empties into a 3.2-liter disposable dust bag, and the dock washes the mop pads with boiling temperature water and dries them with hot air. There's also fast charging, which is rated to take 80 minutes for a full charging cycle. The Max Ultra Complete version also has automatic detergent refilling that uses a dual compartment, one for the cleaning solution and another one for pet odor control. We've seen reports on Dreame's global sites that there will be an X60 Master version available in the future, although regional availability and timing are uncertain. Dreame Master docks can be integrated into a home's plumbing system so that even the refilling and emptying of water tanks can be automated. Dreame's app has a lot of our favorite smart customizations. You can set schedules, select and customize rooms and zones, set no-go and no-mop zones, and control almost every aspect of the robot's cleaning routine. The robot itself has a built-in voice assistant for verbal commands, and it can be integrated with third-party voice assistants. It is also Matter-capable for communication across smart devices, although the rollout for Matter has been a little uneven on Dreame robots, so firmware updates will be important there. In order to preserve battery life, you can also set the charging level between 80 and 100%, in the same way you might for a smartphone, which can extend the life of the battery. That said, no robot is perfect, and the X60 did have a few weaknesses in our testing. Navigation was a bit of a con. The X60 uses a retracting LiDAR that pulls into the body of the robot for low clearance cleaning, and we don't always find the retracting style to be as efficient in our tests. This played out again in the X60, which had a slightly below average navigation efficiency of 0.64 meters per minute. Another con was in the battery efficiency. The official battery life on the X60 is rated at 180 minutes, but the battery efficiency in our test was lower, with 1.38 minutes of runtime per 1% of battery life. The low navigation and battery efficiency gave the X60 a fairly low estimated square footage per charge, coming in below average with 950 square feet, as opposed to the average of 1,170. The fast charging ability in the dock is a good thing, and the X60 does have a recharge and resume feature that can help offset this issue. Another con was the small dust bin, which was only 235 milliliters. This was even smaller than the notoriously scant bin on the Curve X. In addition to our own data, we like to review chatter on Reddit and Amazon to see if there are any big or common faults with the X60. It's a little too early after its release to see if there are any big issues beyond what we were able to test for, but we keep an eye on these things, and if that changes, it could affect its rankings. But as it stands, when we reviewed all the data and tallied up the features and scores, the X60 Max Ultra Complete surprised us all by taking the #1 spot on our Vacuum Wars Top 20 Robot Vacuum. It unseated the reigning champion, the Dreame L50 Ultra, which held the top spot for several months. You can find this and all of our other favorite robot vacuums on our website, which is linked below, and there you can also find our recommendations based on price. We purchase all of our robots ourselves, and our reviews are never sponsored, so you can be confident that you always get our own opinions when we recommend a product. Don't forget to subscribe to Vacuum Wars before you go, and thanks for watching.
All of the links in the description are updated regularly to reflect our current favorite vacuums in multiple categories. You'll also find links to the Vacuum Wars website in the description, where we have more detailed lists of our favorite products, like our new Top 20 Robot Vacuums list, which is updated weekly.